students, this is Sagarika Mahanti. Welcome to microeconomics classes. In previous classes, we discussed about the nature of economics and now we are discuss the concept of economics problem. Before we discuss about the economics problem, let's discuss some terms in economics. So first is needs. What is needs? In economics, needs means those things which are essential of our life, such as food, shelter, cloth. And your needs is your necessary related to your necessary goods. What is wants? Wants is a desire of a human being and such wants are related to your non-essential items such as to buy a mobile phone, to buy an expensive car, to buy jewelry, etc. are the category of your wants of human beings. Next is economic problem. The problem of having unlimited wants but limited resources to satisfy them, and this concept we are discuss in our next slides. Next is scarcity. What is the meaning of scarcity? Scarcity means lack of something, and here the scarcity is related to your resources and resources is your related to your economic resources. So what is economic resources? Economic resources are those resources which are used in production, including natural resources, capital resources and human resources. What is natural resources? Natural resources are those resources which are from nature that are used in production, including land, raw materials and natural process. What is capital resources? The processed materials, equipment and buildings used in production, also known as capital. What is human resources? The efforts of people involved in production, including labor, entrepreneurship, etc. are known as human resources. And here the human resources is also known as manpower. Next is goods. There are two goods which are more focused in economics, such as capital goods and consumer goods. So capital goods are those goods which are used to produce other goods and services. For example, plant, machinery, etc. And consumer goods are those goods which are produced for present consumption, and such goods are consumed by consumer directly. Now our concept is economic problem. As we know, human wants are unlimited but the means to satisfy them are limited. Here the means means your resources. Therefore, all our wants cannot be fulfilled. In order to maximize satisfaction, every consumer exercises choice as to which goods should be consumed and in what quantity. An economic problem is basically a problem of choice. Thus, economic problem is a problem of choice involving satisfaction of unlimited wants out of limited resources having alternative uses. From the above meaning, there is a three main reason of existence in the economic problem, such as scarcity of resources, unlimited human wants and alternate uses. First is scarcity of resources. Resources here indicates that your three resources, that is human resources, natural resources and capital resources. So resources are limited in relation to their demand and economy cannot produce all what people want. It is a basic reason for existence of economic problems in all economics. Scarcity is universal and applies to all individuals, organizations and countries. There would have been no problem if resources are not scarce. Next is unlimited human wants. The human wants are never ending. They can never be fully satisfied. As soon as one want is satisfied, another new wants emerges. Wants of people are unlimited and keep on multiplying and cannot be satisfied due to limited resources. Human wants also differs in priorities. That is, all wants are not of equal intensity. For every individual, some wants more important and urgent as compared to others. Due to this reason, people allocate their resources in order to their preference to satisfy some of them wants. If all wants had been of equal importance, then it would have become impossible to make choice. Here that means your human wants never ending and never satisfied. All human wants can never be satisfied because your resources is limited. Next is alternate uses. Alternate uses means you have a option to choose something. That is, resources are not only scarce but they have can also be put to various uses. It makes choice among resources more important. For example, petrol is used not only in vehicle but also in running machine, generator, etc. As a result, economic has make choice between alternative uses of given resources. That means here the resource economics gives resources in alternate uses. You can use the petrol not only in vehicle, you can use petrol in running machinery, running generators, etc. So here the central problem of economy. Production, consumption and exchange are the three basic economic activities of our life. In the course of these activities, every society has faced scarcity of resources which gives rise to problem of choice. In other words, every society has to decide on what to use its scarce resources or how to use such scarce resources. This broadly, the central economic problem of economy is allocation of resources, and allocation of resources is basically categorized into three major groups, that is what to produce and in what quantity. Next is how to produce. Next is from whom to produce. First we discuss what to produce and in what quantity. Here the what to produce is related to an entrepreneur or any individuals decide. It is based on the selection of goods that he should be produced, and if produced, then which goods should be produced, capital goods or consumer goods. Let's read it. This is the first basic problem of allocating resources among different alternative uses. This is also known as problem of resource allocation. That means what to produce is related to problem of resource allocation. It is related to the selection of goods, as all goods cannot be produced because of limited resources. Whether to produce more of food, clothing, housing or luxury goods, whether to have more of consumer goods or have a capital goods. So here the problem is to produce capital goods or to produce consumer goods. For example, while determining budgetary policy, the problem before government is as to how many resources should be allocated to agricultural sector, to industrial sector, etc. Problem of choice requires the decision of what to produce and what not, which wants are urgent and which wants can wait as to be decided. So it has twofold decision. One is which goods and services are to be produced, consumer goods or capital goods or wartime goods or peacetime goods, or quantity of goods and services. After a decision has to be taken on choosing of goods or quantity of these goods should be decided. So that means if you are decided what to produce, then your next decision should be in what quantity or how much you produce such goods. If you have a land and you want to cultivate in land, then you have various alternative uses in such land, that you decide what to produce. You produce rice or you produce wheat. This is your choice, and economics is based on problem of choice. After decide what to produce and what quantity, next is your problem is how to produce, and this is related to your choice of techniques of production, and this is related to, you can say that in short, this is related to your methods or technology used to produce such goods. There are two techniques, that is labor intensive technique or capital intensive technique. Labor intensive technique means you use more labor in this economy. That means it use more of labor and less of capital. For example, in India, India is known as labor intensive country, and you can use the capital intensive also. The capital intensive means you use more capital. Capital means your machinery, plant, etc., and less labor, and you can say that example of a capital intensive country is USA. So choice of labor intensive would means that the economy make better use of its available manpower, that is generation of employment. And choice of capital intensive would mean that the economic develop its infrastructural base required for rapid economic growth. However, choice of techniques depends on the objective of the producer. It may be labor intensive or capital intensive. It can also be combination of both. The efforts of this choice use the efficient techniques of production. So first you decide what to produce and in what quantity. Then next is how to produce, and it is related to your labor intensive technique and capital intensive technique. After that, next is from whom to produce. And here the example of how to produce. India prefers labor intensive technique due to abundance of labor, and developed economics like that European countries prefer capital intensive technique due to abundance of capital. Efficient technique is the one which use the least amount of scarce resources to produce maximum. In other words, the production should be taken at minimum cost. And your factor of production are objective of producer, availability of techniques, availability of resources, etc. That means example is the country should choose such intensive technique that is here is not scarce, or here is abundance. In India there is abundance of labor, or in USA or European countries there is abundance of capital. So here the choice is that the economic is choose labor intensive techniques or capital intensive technique. After the what to produce and what quantity and how much to produce and how to produce, the next is your from whom to produce is another central economic problem. So this problem related to your distribution of goods produced and services among the individuals within the economy. Selection of category of people who will ultimately consume the goods, whether the producer goods for more poor or less rich, or more rich or less poor. So here the focus of your target, to which is your target, is your rich people or poor people. Since resources are scarce in every economy, no society can satisfy all the wants of its people. Thus, the problem of choice arises. Goods are produced for these people who have the paying capacity. The capacity of people to pay for goods depends upon their levels of income. As we know, the poor people have the paying capacity is low, and rich people have the paying capacity is more. It means this problem is concerned with the distribution of income among the factors of production, land, labor, capital and enterprise who contribute in production process. The problem can be categorized under two main heads, that is personal distribution and another is functional distribution. So personal distribution means how national income of the economy is distributed among the different groups of people, that is rich people or poor people. And functional distribution involves deciding the shares of different factors of production in the total national product of the country. Here the functional distribution related to your factors of production, and factors of productions are land, labor, capital and entrepreneur. For land you have to pay rent, and for labor you pay wages, and for capital you pay interest, and entrepreneur to earn profit. So this is related to your central economic problem. Hope you guys understood this concept. Thank you for watching.